Thank you all. Thanks for looking at that ahead of time. Then moving on to the next page, where top of the page requested increases. Obviously, every program did come in at least the 5% over the current year. And oh, there we go. He's increasing that. How's that? Is that good? Okay. But we wanted to only mention the ones that are the most significant increases. Otherwise, we'd probably be here for another hour. These obviously by dollar cost or percentage would be the more significant ones we bring your attention to. Obviously, the barrel allowance increasing from 600 to 750, and per capita increasing just over 2.2 million. And prosecutors, we gave them the target of 813. They came in still above that, seeing that change there. And just on down, but if you will notice the 7.9 million is the real big increase. Fortunately, we see that that's going to be not at that level every year. Facilities needs to catch up and get current on quite a bit of maintenance repair that has been deferred or backlogged, if you will. So plugging in that $10 million for 2023 causes a significant increase there. The other one is legal department. You'll see later that we eliminate the water rights budget that they had for many, many years. Looks like we're just swapping it back. But what we will expect is that a portion of their expense will be recouped through the water compact funding, because that's what they will be performing in support of that. So it looks like they got a big increase. They really didn't. It's about actually less than what they were appropriated even for the current year, considering that that water rights budget was still in place. So the final tally there, there is one program that kind of jumps out, kind of out of place actually, and that's in social services, the bottom entry for mandatory. As you know, the compact funding through BIA is a set amount. They have been awarded every dollar that's available for those functions, but they seek add on to that amount to the current request of 1.2 million. And so that reflecting a significant change. On the discretionary side, Salish Kadlisba Culture Committee is requesting a significant increase to add a total of 8 positions in the Culture Committee, and then in language program to add 2 positions. The powwows, we carry forward your increase that you granted this year, so that both Standing Arrow and Arlie are at the $100,000 amount. Communications, this is also a big increase from the current level. Wanting to go to 419,000. One specific increase of 250,000 is to perform activities under the Why We Work initiative, and also to put quite a bit of investment into the CSKT website and maintenance of that. New programs, functions, services, and activities. This is one that we collect in the budget process. Just over $1 million coming in for things that you're not currently funding, or they're being covered by other funding sources, not tribal. If you approve any or all of these, then we're going to have to go back within the 69 million requests and kind of pull back or realign some of that to stay at the 69 million. First one, Arlie Volunteer Fire Department requesting 100,000 for a new ambulance, and that they have 2/3 of that total cost funded through the other 2 sources. The Flathead Reservation Extension Program would like support for an additional agent. And if this was approved, it would be under Administration of Lands. NRD in the Division of Fish, Wildlife, Recreation, Conservation requests 2 new activities, one of big game management, total amount of 170,000, and also to provide dedicated funding to Blue Bay Campground, which is currently being funded by a variety of sources. Their collections and fees that they receive, mitigation funding, and a small amount of Indian Affairs compact funding. And they have included that in their 23 work plan. Sorry about that, it keeps moving in there. And then the last one, you heard that we have the $10 million request for facilities, but it doesn't include new construction. So established Cuddly Spa is requesting $437,000 to construct addition to the Longhouse. They have a need for historical collection storage and also to expand classroom for the language program. Do you have any comments or discussion about these new requests?
Well, I was just sitting here thinking about operation or facilities requesting $10 million and none of it is new construction. I mean, that kind of raises red flags to me right there. Of course, I know there's a lot of facilities that has been neglected over the years.
Yeah.
That's just a comment. Any other thoughts from council? Yes, Jennifer.
Yeah, thank you. I had a couple questions. It looks like a couple programs are proposing to add on a significant amount of employees.
Yes.
So the first one I noticed was, what was it, maintenance or something? Is that what that was for? I can't really think. Let me find it here. Oh. No, the opposite management. Well, the one was the culture committee, 8 full-time people.
Mhm.
What would those be?
They would be adding in for an assistant director and some language folks and a longhouse caretaker. I'm just going by my memory. Yeah, and then of course in the language program, they would add an instructor. They were only going with 1, now they need 2, so they would add that. That one for sure I remembered. But if you like the detail of what those requests are, I can provide that. In records management, that's really the big add-on into the indirect cost pool. Currently, we're just $90,000 to have a part-time position to begin scanning and other storage type activities out at Kicking Horse. So this is to stand up a full program of staff at $549,000. So that's kind of singularly the biggest add-on in the indirect cost pool. In personnel, they're adding an FTE. This is so they can catch up and stay current with the growth of the organization. Property and supply, I think we're catching up to the add-on that they got this year. Let's see, prosecutors, vendors. Yeah, so across the organization, they add 1, 2, but those bigger ones have been in the culture committee and for the records management.
Thank you, Ruth. The other one that I was looking at was tribal lands, 6 FTE for cemeteries maintenance.
Yes.
So does that mean like Jocko Cemetery and all of those places?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
after we had met, we had a group meeting with facilities represented by Lisa and then Mark for lands. We felt it was advisable to place the maintenance function under lands because it goes along with all other lands maintenance and management. They already have a field crew that we fund with both tribal and BIA compact. So we're simply going to add to that to increase their capacity to perform that.
So are our tribal maintenance people the only people who maintain some of those cemeteries that also bury non-tribal people? Are we paying for all of that?
If I understand your question correctly, so when I say tribal maintenance, I'm talking about indirect cost funded tribal maintenance, the people who care for the government facilities. Tribal lands cares for all of the tribal lands management. So you do have to keep that separated. We cannot and should not be sending IDC funded maintenance staff to care for a non-IDC function like a cemetery. So as far as the care of cemeteries in which non-members are interred, is that what you asked me? I am not certain of what all of those requirements are, cemetery by cemetery. I know that St. Yeleman has a protocol or a preference, if you will. I asked Ms. Stops down there about what that was. I said, is it tribal members? Are you starting to allow descendants or spouses of members? I said, because I foresee that one's coming. So, but that's part of this overall cemetery maintenance that lands will work within, is that there will be developed those protocols as far as who would be allowed to be utilizing the cemetery.
Okay. Ruth, in regards to the volunteer fire departments, have we been donating to the Elmo Volunteer Fire Department in the past?
If we have, it's not been a specified donation activity. Maybe they just requested one informally and it went through the regular policy. The ones that you approve, if they are recurring, then they are in the budget for recurring and you don't have to approve them every year. But when they're a one-time, then this is how we get it in there, is ask if you're going to approve that.
Okay, so is it still too late to get Elmo added on that list for a recurring donation?
This is where we're at, Mr. Vice Chairman.
Okay.
So I would say
I would like,
not too late.
I would like that added because they have been reaching out to me in the past and have some issues that are going on with their current facility that they need to get maintained.
Do you have a contact name?
No, but I can get one.
Just let us know.
Okay,
Appreciate that.
thank you.
Yes. So in all of this wonderful collection of the numbers and the figures that, as you can see, could evolve from moment to moment. Because we don't have enough fiscal year revenue coming in to meet all of the needs, then obviously we have to dig into what is already received and available. General fund, if we are in approval of whatever the final amounts are going to be, and is it actually available? It's always the loophole, actual funds available. We would propose to transfer up to 32 million from general fund reserve and make those appropriations for the 23 requests. The majority of those are currently the corporate dividends, which for the last 3 fiscal years have come in at increased amounts. And this would be allowing for those received through the end of this fiscal year. In the Indian Health Service Compact, and this is something that I regret putting into this document because we wanted to keep you on to the tribal appropriated, but just to make mention of the fact that they will have to spend from reserves to expend at that rate that they requested, because they are above the amount that we would expect to receive. Same in Indian Affairs Compact. This one's a little bit more noteworthy because unlike Indian Health Service, our programs don't generate collections or a great deal of income besides our trust income from leases and from timber stumpage. It's not like the third-party collections that the healthcare system can churn up and then rely upon. So these, we had 3 programs that wanted significant increases, being social services, tribal lands, and law enforcement, to a total of about an additional 1.5 million. So in this respect, we requested to kind of cut it in the middle, give them half of what they asked for in the increase, and then we would still be transferring a little over 2.2 million from reserves to meet those requests. The note on there is that the sustainability of these increases, I would never tell you you could keep doing that without impact. We would have to, at some future point, near future point, look at adjustment of the total allocations in that fund. In the Water Compact, as we mentioned, some of our general fund programs like the legal department, the culture committees, tribal preservation, and some of the resource management programs that are contributing to the Water Compact implementation, they have increased their budget, and it's be the expectation that through an MOA, the compact would then pay for those services, and that would then offset the revenue we had to spend in general fund. We expect that that could be as much as 3 million based on the current level of requests. Now for the news, eliminations. Programs and activities that we propose to eliminate and what type of appropriation. We obviously have not recommended anything to eliminate from permanent or mandatory programs, but in discretionary. Following through with that, water administration is a program that began 40 years ago to prepare for water rights settlement. And so being that is no longer needed, that has been transferred to the compact, and the 2 employees and many more that have been added since, because they're doing water rights registration now, are covered by that. Forensic evaluations, this is one that I never understood why it was never just put in their budget, because these are the programs that need it. They're simply including that in their budgets now as a person who is subject to prosecution or sentencing, or for whatever reason may need a forensic evaluation, then either the prosecutors or defenders would order for that and expense that. Another small one of, you see, these are small amounts. That's why I hope nobody gets really concerned. $1,000 in ad sponsorships. We believe that is already covered in communication projects. The license plate, our very short-lived dam license was discontinued, and we did collect some revenue over the several years it was in place. Tribal education spends whatever available revenue is there. I don't know if they've fully expended that yet, but I would expect that they will in the near future. Tribal court administrative expense, we collect that $20 fee. Any case that's going through court, it's an automatic surcharge for administration fee. Those funds were attributed to support their case management system. But again, we're just going to include that in their vastly increased BIA compact budget, and that fee will just continue to be received as tribal general fund revenue, the same as court fees and court fines. The water rights budget of 2.6 million, obviously that is all coming under water compact in some fashion, so we simply no longer appropriate to that program anymore, to that particular program. The construction amount of 2 million, that was spending up the MDOT funds for Ronan Urban, and that has been fully expended as we speak. All of the costs to finish Ronan Health Center are now covered in the IHS compact budget that we received for lost reimbursement under American Rescue Plan Act. Social services supplement, for reasons I never quite could understand myself, we were adding on tribal funding to social services, just under 89,000. In principle, we would ask that you not ever supplement a federally funded program, especially a self-governance one. If we are taking that program, we just are going to have to take what it funds and go with that. So that note about included in IA compact funded. And the last one falls in that same category. Two Eagle supplement, they have a BIE contract. They are funded by that. Plus they have also received their non-core funding from CARES Act and Rescue Plan. So they had been given this supplement for about 20 years, and we would ask that you discontinue that supplement. So the total eliminations of just over 5 million, obviously the big ones being water rights, which is going under the compact funding, and then construction, which is shifting to the source that it needs to be to finish that.
Okay.
Any comments about the eliminations?
Any questions, comments, concerns? I guess not, Ruthie.
All right. It's the one I always hold my breath on. Okay, and then in kind of the last note there, you probably noticed in this fiscal year, nobody ever came in, especially me, to say, I need you to increase this budget because of whatever reason. We hope to build in at the beginning of the year very realistic and practical estimates for both the revenue side and certainly the expense side, and to forego having to come in and ask you to I guess microscopically approve these requested increases. So what we have you do is when you enact your budget and then the subsequent modifications, you also have delegated financial management the authority to revise and reallocate as long as we don't exceed the total. And fortunately, we have been able to do various modifications and adjustments, especially for programs that either had a capital equipment need or some other programmatic need that, we're obviously not going to not fund. So that has been a welcome streamlining approach on my part. I have greatly appreciated that authority to do that. So if we enact at the total requested, should it arise that as we begin the year, if you yourself or anybody in the organization were to have a request for an increase, we'd have to actually see one or two things going on there. Either we see that we're going to get some more revenues, actual or projected, or we can reallocate a budgeted expense, maybe pull back on things that were maybe estimated beyond what they was actually needed.
Okay.
So with that, we would expect to go into 2023, kind of how we went through this year, not having to come in at various times to make those increases.
All right, good news.
Well, it's good news for us. I don't know if it's good news for the askers.
Is this report just an FYI? Do you need action on this?
We would ask if you have no objection or no need to revise or further discuss, then you can accept the recommendations. We would come back, did I say August 9th? That's 2 weeks from today. We would hope to come back August 9th and provide you the final version and the resolution to enact. Also at that same time as when we'll have you take final action on your self-governance budgets, your water compact, your settlement funds, which is the dam mitigation and the Clark Fork Super Fund, and the spending authority for the business-like operations, which is tribal credit and Quicksilver and Gray Wolf Park and the early childhood daycare centers.
Okay, so with the exception of the Elmo Volunteer Fire Department, I would like to see that change, but Martin had a comment.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Ruth and Greg, after the discussion we had this morning with Craig Couture, I would like to possibly get the defenders, prosecutors, and tribal police maybe at the same table and brainstorm how we can address our fentanyl problem right now. It's something that it's an epidemic, and it's way worse here than Craig has seen a lot, and he's saying it's as bad or worse than it's ever been. So instead of sitting on our hands for another year, I think that let's try to get them together and see what I did see. Defenders having a couple extra FTEs. I don't know what that's about, but the reentry program that is very successful could use, literally there could be 5 more case managers and it would help, but it still wouldn't be enough. So, let's be realistic about it, but let's definitely not let another year go by where we're not bringing it up or thinking about it, because it's probably gonna get worse before it gets better. So, thank you.
It's a good point, Martin. Yeah, that's the another discussion that we need to really include, because the same issues that we've been dealing with law and order for the past 10 years, but now is the time that we need to start addressing those. So I see Ellie has a comment.
Thanks, Mr. Vice Chair. Just in response to Martin's last comment, I just wanted to inform council that those meetings regarding the fentanyl are being planned. I know Captain Fiddler was working on one. There was one scheduled for tomorrow morning at 9. I'm not sure if that's still happening. I believe he's out sick today, but so those meetings were happening. I know Kathy Ross had expressed interest in getting on board. So we were going to talk about how to better educate and inform people and and just have that conversation that Martin mentioned. What can we do? What do we need to do? Who needs to be at the table? So I can keep council apprised of that as it progresses.
Okay, very good. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, Vice Chair,
Yes, Tom.
just, I just can't resist an observation of being a manager. I gotta go back. So some of the information, of course, I didn't have in the packet. So I was looking at new information on the screen that as Ruthie and Greg were presenting it, but asking for $400,000 for cemetery maintenance was way beyond my imagination. So that's $100,000 more than taking care of all Blue Bay campground. So I'm not sure. It'd be nice to know what the breakdown of that is for 6 full-time equivalents, based on the acreage of the cemeteries that we have, et cetera. Then the other one on the Blue Bay, if they come under this program as it is, because it was a pay-you-play type scenario in the past, does that mean that the Blue Bay won't be charging people anymore? And would it become a travel member only park?
Okay, yes, Greg.
So I would say a couple of things. First, in response to Mr. Charlot's comments, I'd be very interested in bringing together defenders, prosecutors, and law and orders work plans for the upcoming fiscal year, as well as their 2 to 5 year arc. I think that would be very informative in informing that discussion about what decisions and what steps can be made going forward. So I'm happy to coordinate that.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you. Martin.
And I guess specifically, I would like us to tackle and I'm not talking about beefing up the jails and things, it's beefing up mental health and addiction counseling and getting the people the help that they need to get them off this. It's not, even Craig, I think, I don't want to speak for Craig, but it's an addiction problem. And until we address that, beefing up the jails and the cops, we're just kind of treating the symptom. So I think that that's something that, yeah, we could, Ann Miller's involved and even Maylin Smith, I think that they're taking a different approach to these issues that we have here. And, addressing those is critical to get us, through this. So, yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Martin. One more comment and then we'll wrap this up. Ruth?
Yes, Mr. Vice Chairman, I hope that you do remember in just a couple minutes ago, I mentioned social services requesting quite an increase into their program. For myself, if we don't front end load social programs, it won't matter how much law enforcement and justice you fund at the back end. And you're absolutely correct. We're simply gonna expense for the reality, but not make any headway on the causes. With every single arrest, there is at least one child at risk. And now in the system, I have this personal account in my own family. And it's just, we can say that we believe there's a problem and it needs to be addressed. And I am thankful that you're willing to make some of those hard decisions on that, because it is going to take a monumental effort, and it doesn't belong to any single agency. It doesn't just belong to tribal health. It doesn't just belong to law enforcement. It belongs to everybody. So
All right,
we
thank
will look
you.
forward to that.
Thank you for that, Ruth. I really appreciate your perspective and your observation on that. Something that, yeah, there's other aspects of it that we cannot forget about. And there's costs always associated with that we don't seem to catch all the time. So with that, I'll go ahead and wrap this up. And at this point in time, since this is really not, do we need council action on this, or can we wait until we get the final report?
We have 2 dates coming up, the August 9th date, and then we want to get this wrapped up by the end of the month of August. So we don't need action today. We just want your feedback that we're on the right track and that we're addressing the right things. We'll come back on the week of the 9th, and then by the end of the month, we'll be at final.
Okay, one more comment.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Ruth, I just want to thank you for your eloquent comment, and I agree. Investing more money in the children is essential to prevent them from going down the same path. I wholeheartedly agree with that, so
Yes,
thank you.
and great job to both of you. Thank you. Very fortunate to have you guys on our staff.
Thank you.
Okay, moving right along. Jennifer?
Jody Perez.
Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Jody. Everybody come on up. Don't be bashful.
So first we have David Corwin, and he is with the USDA.
All right.
And so Bob is actually coordinating his visit here. And we're working with area lenders to make sure that we have everything laid out that we can do USDA lending on the reservation on trust property. And so it's been a very good meeting so far. I think we're working out a lot of the kinks, but I'm gonna hand it over to Bob and he can do the introduction.
Okay, thank you, Jody.
Thank you for giving us a few minutes. This is an important component of work that's being done, oftentimes not in front of the council, but there's a loan product that USDA has had for many years. And we haven't been able to access it as readily as we would like to. And so we have today two officials, Ingrid Ripley and David Corwin, who are on the policy side of the 502 guaranteed loan. It's a no down payment, low cost loan to compete with 184, and we're trying to get it to be more common on trust land. So assisting them, we also have Kathleen Williams, who a lot of you know, who's the state director now for USDA. And we have two USDA staff folks, Cindy Coleman and Katina Euchre. They're from Billings. And then of course, we have, I don't know if you guys have met this young lady here yet, Tonya Plummer. You will know her. She's working with Fort Belknap and has approved the Hearth Act there, which makes leasing of tribal lands much quicker. And then of course, Jason's volunteering his time. And we have Brenda Dennis, who's been making tribal loans for quite a while. We just wanted to show particularly the visitors who haven't been here before the council and let you know that there's some good work that Jody and her staff are doing to try to bring more resources to the membership.
All right, well, thank you, Bob. And once again, welcome. Thank you for the work that you do and your collaboration with us. Very important this time, especially when it comes to home ownership. And I'm not really sure if this is the venue to bring this up, but we've also been dealing with foreclosure too that we've been trying to address. So, but getting more homeowners out there on the reservation has been one of our big goals. And so we really appreciate you taking the time to be with us and get through those obstacles that we need to do so we can move on. So thank you. Is there any comments from the council? Okay, very good. And once again, welcome. And I want you to hope you enjoy your stay here. And if there's any other comments?
Well, from our side, we really appreciate the time you took to meet with us, and we're really excited about working with the Native tribes, and we are listening. So today we told about a couple of ideas that we have to help out in the challenges that you have, and we are learning from other tribes to see how we can bring more lending into those areas. But we are listening because we capture some of the conversations we had at a previous meeting. And now we're coming back and say, these are some of the ideas that we heard you and that we're working on so that we can make it easier for you. So that is our goal too, to increase housing in Indian territory. So we appreciate the time and we love working with everybody here and wish and hope that we can get this going and moving forward.
All right, very good. Thank you.
And Mr. Vice Chair, Kathleen Williams, State Director. So Ingrid and David are from DC. I'm housed in Bozeman, and I just wanted to say that I'm just honored to be back. As you may have known, I worked on the compact for 10 years or so, and just want to congratulate you on getting that into the implementation phase. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Kathleen, and we do appreciate your work that you're helping us with the water compact. Very appreciative. I have one comment here from Mr. Charlo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you all for being here. I'm assuming you just go to the USDA to access this loan product, or could you leave information so we could put in our minutes on how to access it?
I mean, this will be information that will be shared with the public here once we get all of the details and everything ironed out on the process, correct? Yes, sir. Okay, very good. Any other questions from the council? Okay, well, thank you. Thank you all, and you guys all have a good day. Enjoy your time while you were here, and thank you for your time. Yes, Jennifer.
Yeah, here. You have one more issue. You got Shane Morjo that wanted to go in executive really quick for a sole source contract. I don't know if you want to do it before tribal health or after tribal health.
It's only gonna be a few minutes. Let's do it right. Let's take care of it right now.
Okay.
Okay,
Executive.
we'll go into executive session.